My childhood. It's funny. Of course, I was born here in Kenya. And by that part, for the first 5 years, I didn't know so much because it was also, I think, young. And then I was 5 years old, and we moved to Netherlands, actually. I remember the best thing, actually, of my childhood. I think I just love to play. And so only memories I have is of me coming home too muddy. My mom being annoyed, actually, like teaching me how to use the washing machine when I was very young. There was like a canal behind our house, and I always try to find a way to float over the canal. So usually it did not work. So I always like entered full body in the water, and then came back home. Mom, the best childhood memory is just being free. We grew up in the countryside, so we didn't have a big city. It was safe, so you could move around anywhere. In the morning, in the weekends, Mama would just say like, see you at lunch, and then we'll come back. So that was really, I think, the best thing of my childhood. So being free and not having the restrictions of a big city. And then also, I think my parents always allowed us to do whatever we wanted, like to be creative. And for me, I'm also creative, so it was really good for me. We had restrictions, of course, because my mom is African, my mother. So you know when to eat, what to do, and how to behave. But within that, we are free. I think, of course, when we went to Holland, actually, Mom is the most African, I think, of the family. Even though Papa is also an African guy. He's Dutch, but he lived in Africa, I think, for 25, 35 years. So he was more African than like a European. But Mom actually when we went to Holland, Mom actually went to school. And because her paperwork was not valid anymore to teach in the Netherlands. So we didn't really have so much time with Mom. That was quite unfortunate. So we only had Mama's taste of food. Was also not bad. And Papa really took care of the children. And it was also the choice of my parents. So I think only when I grew a bit older, I really noticed like, hey, I don't know anything actually about my Uganda roots. Mom tried, of course, but she didn't have time because she would go to school in the morning, come back late, do the homework also. At least make sure she cooked for us every day. That was the only thing she said. I'm always going to cook for you, no matter what happens. So I grew up quite like a Dutch young boy. I think playing football, doing that, going for parties, everything was really Dutch. And I think only when I started traveling myself that I actually noticed like, wow, I don't know so much about my Uganda roots. When I was young, my mom would at least make sure she would save money and go back to Uganda every 2 years. But because it was not very safe and we also were not really a rich family or something, that we could not really join Mom. So in our past, we only went twice to Uganda, and we really went inside the Karamoja region, outside again. We didn't stay for long. So no, I did not have that connection. Even though I know Mama tried, and we also had some family members could come to us maybe for a week and then tell about Uganda, but yeah, that's it. So you don't really have the emotional connection actually with it, no.